How we doing, Dodgers fans? The Dodger bats show signs of life this week and leading the Dodgers to a winning week. We'll look back at that. We'll also look ahead to the Freeway Series and the upcoming week for the Angels, all this week on Dodgers Wrap 360.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin. Nothing's gonna ever keep you down. You're the best around. Nothing's gonna ever keep you down. You're the best around. Nothing's gonna ever keep you down.
I want to crane you right now, Joshua. Wow.
This song takes it back.
Just in case anybody was wondering if we are not children of the 80s, we're just kind of putting the capper on it right there. Alongside Joshua Gershon, I'm Mike Conley. Guys, thanks for joining us for another edition of AfterBuzz's TV Dodgers Wrap 360, coming to you from the lovely AfterBuzz studios in downtown North Hollywood. Boom! So, the Dodgers. What can you say? I mean, we thought the knocks on them this year was going to be, depth at the back end of the rotation, the bullpen, and how that was going to go about, and the situational hitting. Well, the bullpen was great this week.
Yeah, aside from today. 6 games, no earned runs until today. They were great this week.
And we got a little bit of situational hitting this week.
Yeah, finally.
An upturn in that direction. And the starting pitching is still holding up. And we got upturns on the guys in that starting rotation we were kind of a little lackluster on, namely Wood and Kazmir.
And Kazmir looked good in both his. I went to Monday's game.
Nice.
Struggled a little at the beginning, but once he settled down after that third inning, he was great. I don't think he allowed a runner after that.
Right.
So he looked. And then what was it? Friday night he looked
amazing.
Amazing.
He got that.
8 2/3?
8 2/3. Yeah. Almost got that complete game, and then former Red Sox fourth rounder Jeremy Hazelbaker takes him deep. You're 1 out away from getting his first complete game in like 3 years, and
but he pitched great. So.
He did. So that's a step in the right direction. And, you're seeing that with Wood, too. So, maybe a guy we were looking to run out of the town and Rick Honeycutt, maybe he's actually earned his paycheck past couple weeks. Because, and it seems to be the name of the game with Kazmir and Wood is both the same for those guys, keep the ball down.
Yeah.
When you're down in the zone, you're effective. When you're up in the zone, you're a batting practice pitcher.
And Kazmir gets in trouble when he starts walking guys, because that happened on Monday. That's when he gets in trouble.
Yep.
It's if he doesn't, like the other day, he didn't really walk. I think he had one walk, I believe.
Right.
In the 8 2/3. That's when he's on his game.
Yeah. Yes, you're right. He did have one walk. I think he had 7 Ks on one walk.
Yeah.
But it's good to see. I mean, they're only like. It was only a 4-3 week, but you're playing some good teams. To take 2 out of 4, to split with the Mets are a very good team with a very good pitching staff. And, obviously it took the horse to come through and put his stamp on the series to get the split. But then to take,
2 out of 3 from the Cards, who normally kick the Dodgers' butt.
Right.
So.
And that's a step in the right direction. I know everybody says this is a down year for the Cards and all that stuff, because they're third in the Central. They still have a very similar record to what the Dodgers have right now.
I think they're a game under 500. Dodgers a game over 500.
Yeah. So I think it might be like. I think the Dodgers they have a loss today, so I think they might be 20-18.
Yeah, I know they're a game behind the Giants now, because the Giants kind of won 5 in a row, 4 in a row.
They went on a little bit of a rip. So, but it's bound to happen. You just the key for the Dodgers is going to be this stretch coming up, because now they play the next 3 weeks versus some pretty horrible opponents.
Yes.
And they really have to clean it up. This week. I mean, just we'll break it down a little bit more in the future, but just going ahead, they are coming up on the Angels, who are last in their division, I believe, right?
Yes.
In the West, and San Diego, who's last in the NL West, and Cincinnati, who I believe is last in the NL Central. Yeah. So those are the next 3 series. It's like you got to come back with like a 750 winning percentage on those 3 series.
They have to, because then they go on the road against the Mets and on the road against the Cubs.
Right.
So you have to win at least.
Time to make some hay.
Yeah.
Time to get like to 10 games over 500 before you get to that tough stretch, But so today was a little bit of a downer. I know you're putting it on the Skip a little bit. You know, do you want to vent a little bit about the Skip?
Well, today I just thought he kind of was outsmarting himself. I mean, Blanton has pitched well. I don't blame him for bringing Blanton in.
Right.
But it was a, you know, he intentionally walks Brandon Moss to get to Yadier Molina. Now I know Molina wasn't scheduled to hit, but I mean, if you watch the game on TV, you literally saw Matheny talk to Molina to say, "Are you ready to play?"
Right.
So I'm assuming there's Dodger people watching this to tell Roberts this very thing, you know, that, hey, they're going to bring in Molina next, or he should assume they were going to bring in Molina next.
Right.
So who's hitting 330 and 375 with runners in scoring position this year?
Well, I mean, how does that whole thing go? They have to announce the hitter first, and then you. Like...
Well, he brought in. They announced Blanton, brought him in. So Matheny brought in Brandon Moss to pinch hit.
Okay.
They walked Moss intentionally. Then he brought in Molina to pinch hit, and Molina crushed that double that scored the go-ahead runs today.
Right.
And then he intentionally walked. Forgot who the next guy was, and what's his face? Can't pronounce his name. Starts with I think it's a B on the Cardinals. What's his name? Anyway, he got a hit and scored another run.
Biscotti?
Biscotti, yeah.
That's a P.
So P. Biscotti. Couldn't remember his name.
Yeah.
But
you were thinking of the Italian pastry, biscotti.
Biscotti. It's close enough. Not to offend Italians.
I'm so hungry right now.
And then another intentional walk to get to Biscotti, and Biscotti smacked a single. And it was just a lot of curious decisions on that one little stretch that led to the lead. I think he was kind of trying to outsmart himself a little bit there, and you know, Matheny's a really good manager. It's going to be hard to outsmart Matheny.
It is.
You know, maybe you should have just. I feel like they should have just let Blanton pitch to Brandon Moss.
Right.
And yeah, I know Moss has pop, but you know, not only is Yachty killing the ball in general, but he kills the Dodgers.
Yeah, I think it's just you got to have a wide berth with old D. Roberts. You know, I think that maybe
it's a learning curve.
So that's going to come. The good thing is like that guy's real consistent with, his demeanor and his upbeat, presence in that clubhouse, So when they were having kind of a bad stretch last week, and having that tough stretch at home, tough homestand, to have that even keel demeanor and some guy that's always, a half glass full guy, is important to have. I mean, because he's new, and your guy from last year is managing some pretty good baseball right now. Yeah. The Marlins are on a little bit of a tear.
Yeah, what did Stanton hit his 11th home run yesterday? Yeah.
It was a bomb. And he still kind of missed it. He just muscled it out. It's pretty crazy. But so you got to be excited. And Seager is turning the corner. He went deep today opposite field.
Twice.
That was nice. Oh, he went deep twice today?
Yeah, twice today.
Boy.
He's and with the other day got 3 hits.
Yeah,
I mean
he made up for and a home run.
Yeah,
he made up for his 2 errors in that game.
Yeah.
So what does he have? 5 now? 5 homers or
6? I think. I believe it's 6. Yeah.
That ties him with Jock for the team lead, I believe.
Except Jock doesn't play every day.
Yeah.
So
might have to change that.
Although I don't know. I mean, Trace is
dude. His walk off the other night.
Oh yeah. Battle back from 0-2, and then he crushed that ball.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's showing those bits of power that we saw a little bit last year with the White Sox.
Yeah. It's impressive. I mean, it's getting to the point where I want to see Trace in there every day. I think he's in center versus lefties, and I think he's in left versus righties.
Yeah, I think so, too. I think at this point, is he not? I mean, I know they like to stick Kendrick out there. Because they want Kendrick and Utley, because Utley's still hitting 290, I believe.
Yeah.
So they still want Utley in the lineup, but it is getting to the point where defensively and with his offense now, you maybe stick Trace out there for 2 weeks and see what happens as the starter. And like you said, lefties come in, you put him in the center field, and then put Kendrick in left during those games.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, Kiki if it's a lefty.
Yeah.
But I mean, but I am encouraged what I've been seeing out of the bullpen. They were great this week.
They really were.
Yeah. Today, so
Libator has been amazing.
Yeah,
actually, I knock on wood. I do not believe he's given up a run yet. I believe his ERA is still 0.
I believe you're right.
Jansen's only given up the 1 run, which wound up being meaningless anyway when he gave up his run. You know, Blanton got knocked around a little this week. Or last week, I think last week he gave up the 3 runs. And then today he got knocked around a bit.
Yeah, there was the game earlier this week where they were up 8-4 and they brought in Blanton, and it would have been nice if he closed out.
Yeah.
But he got hit around a little bit, and they had to bring in, I think he let inherited runners in maybe.
Yeah.
And then they actually had to bring in Conley for a 2-out save. Was that Friday night or?
That was, I think it was Friday night. Was it Friday night? I can't remember.
Yeah. But, oh man, because I mean, Kenley's so dominating, you know, that it's kind of hard not to go to him. But I'm getting a little worried about maybe overuse.
Me too. That's always an issue with closers. But right now, is he the best closer in baseball? As of right now?
I mean, yeah. I mean,
he's top 3, right? He's got to be for sure.
Whose numbers are you going to put up against?
Yeah.
But it is early. I mean, even Fernando Rodney as a closer is having a good year at this point. So it's like, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. But we should try and find somebody else we have faith in that can come in and close out a non-safe situation with a 4-run lead. You know? And it's like, does it have to be a situation where Dave Roberts just automatically, once it gets into a safe situation, he's going to bring in Conley? That just seems like how it is. Unless he's pitched, 3 days in a row.
Which is why I think Howell was brought in today versus Libator, who did pitch yesterday.
Right.
And I think Friday.
Yeah.
Or on Thursday. I think he pitched Thursday. Not Wednesday. I forget. The Kershaw game was Thursday. No one came in that game.
I know. Nobody did. He is so good. He is so good. And, I mean, the thing with Kersh, it's like, I hate to just fast forward through the next 4 months, but we just got to see this in the postseason, carry over, because I think maybe it's just a case where this guy's so intense during the regular season, maybe he doesn't have that extra gear when it comes to the postseason,
That he's always
Everybody
at the
else
same,
is going.
where he's always at the same level no matter what.
I mean, maybe.
Although he pitched really good against the Mets last year on the road.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm hoping that was kind of, because even he looked relieved, so I'm hoping that was kind of his turning point a little bit last year.
Yeah.
Where he pitched a really good game against the Mets. I believe he goes 7 innings, only gave up the 1 run, couple hits. He looked really good in that game. I mean, it was Greinke who struggled in the playoffs last year against the Mets.
That's true.
So,
yeah, I mean, for a May series, that Mets series was pretty intense. That was kind of a playoff. I don't know if we're just saying that just because those two just met in the playoffs last year, but it was hotly contested. It was good baseball. I was excited to watch it.
And it was interesting at Monday's game. They had a really good chance to try to even that game, and it brings me to Puig, who, yes, I know he had 3 hits in the home run Friday. But aside from that, at this point, that's an anomaly.
Yeah.
He has been pretty and I mean awful as of late. The
thing is, he's playing a Gold Glove.
Oh yeah,
right
he's
field
playing.
right now.
Yeah, he's playing terrific in right. That great catch yesterday.
Yeah.
To snag
Saturday
that run.
night,
yeah. But at the plate, I mean, yesterday he went 0 for 3 on 8 pitches.
Yeah.
And then on Monday, I was watching his at-bat closely because he didn't look good in the other 2 at-bats. So he comes up, there's 2 men on, there's 1 out. He was up in the count 2-0 and struck out.
Right.
And he looked bad at every pitch. Like I don't know if he was trying to swing for the fence. I don't know what he was doing, but he just didn't look. I mean, he was taking bad swings. He was ahead of balls. He was behind balls. Nothing seemed to connect at all. Like,
It seemed like he started off this year with kind of a renewed approach. He was taking more first pitches. He was willing to go the other way with balls. And now it seems like that lasted about 10 days to 2 weeks. Yeah. And then since then, it's kind of the same old Puig.
Yeah.
Trying to pull everything, going after that first pitch every time.
Well, except Friday, that was an opposite field home run.
Right.
And
see what happens?
Yeah, but you're right. It seems like the other times when
he's going back.
Yeah, he's going back. I don't know if he gets nervous at the plate. In a leverage situation like that, you're down 2 runs, you got 2 guys on, there's only 1 out. Does he just revert because it's more of a leverage situation? It's a higher leverage, a little more pressure, so he just goes back to his old ways?
I don't know.
I mean,
But, you don't have to go far back in the video library to show him when he was going good.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you turn award, get that kid in the film session and get him going right. And maybe you just, sit him down a little bit, But you do almost want him out there every day.
Oh, for the fielding alone, yeah,
He does something on defense to help your team each and every game out. Whether that's hosing somebody or making a dive and catch. It's like, he's ridiculous.
No, in the field he's amazing, but it's one of those things where it's almost like he's the new Jacques. The way Jacques was last year.
Right.
It's like it went to Puig now.
Well, I mean...
Not as bad, but, well, I don't know.
Jacques was a little more easy to stomach because at least he was hitting like 20 bombs before the break.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But his just everything, his approach looks bad, like his plate discipline is bad. It's, just watching Saturdays, oddly enough, I was up north, in Sonoma for a wedding this weekend.
Right.
So I got to I actually got to watch on TV a little of the game because they show it up there.
That is a howl.
So watching him,
So Dodger fans, if you want to see Dodger games, move to a NorCal.
or I wonder if you can watch him in San Diego, actually. I thought about that.
Wow.
But, so I was watching it, I'm there with a lot of Giants fans. It's Northern California.
Yeah.
And then just watching him, 8 pitches, you're 0 for 3 on 8 pitches? You only saw 8 pitches? I feel like just standing there letting the guy strike you out, you would see 9.
Right. Yeah. And oof, I don't know, man. Maybe it's like, this is almost like reverse psychology, but like moving him up in the order. So he puts more of an importance on seeing pitches or whatever. But, I think like you as a player, you kind of, once you get that book on you that you're a first strike swinger,
Yeah.
you're not going to see very good for.
No, of course not. Yeah.
So it's like you have to go in and out of it, So it's like, show them you're patient, then you'll start getting meatballs again, and then start crushing them, and then go back. So it's like it's a chess game,
Yeah.
So, but oh man. So yeah, I was that Met series kind of interesting. How about Maeda giving up the 2 bombs?
The Syndergaard.
Wow.
Oh,
4.
But that was actually, to me, that was his worst outing. Didn't he walk 4 guys? I believe in that game
Kenta?
too. Yeah, he walked 4 guys. Aside from the 2 home runs he gave up, but
Right.
he walked 4, gave up 6 hits in only 5 innings. Only struck out, I think, 3. Not his sharpest outing. I think that was
Probably his worst, but it was still kind of a serviceable outing.
yeah. He
because-
still gave up the 4 runs.
somebody gave up 2, I think, for him when they came in, didn't they? Or
no, he had all 4 earned because
Okay.
Syndergaard hit both bombs off him.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Syndergaard had all 4 RBIs.
That's crazy. That is crazy. That kid's a stud, though. By the way.
yeah.
I mean, he's like touching triple digits on the gun
But they
as a starter.
They had chances at him. They had good chances at Mats on Monday to kind of capitalize. They really couldn't do it.
Yeah.
He had some. That was when Trace hit the home run. He had a really good at bat then. But then the next time when he had 2 guys on, he came up after Puig in that game, and then he had a really bad at bat.
Right.
His discipline was he took wild swings. So it still worries me that. And then he hit the walk-off a day later, hits the walk-off home run. He's kind of a mystery here. Like, in one leverage situation, he battles from 0-2, hits a walk-off. In the other leverage situation, he swings wild and strikes out. It was a bizarre couple days for Trace Thompson.
Yeah. I do like, his talent level, though. And he has the right demeanor. And it's thinking back to that trade, it's like, the Dodgers' role in that was kind of facilitator between the White Sox and the Reds, just trying to make it work. It's like, who do we even lose in that deal? Like, because to get a player.
Oh, we lost. What's his name? Schebler.
Schebler. Okay, so we sent Schebler to.
Was the only
Reds.
I believe was the only name
really,
in that trade. Yeah.
Yeah. So to get Trace back and only lose a Schebler and some, that's pretty nice.
And some not highly touted prospects is not a bad deal.
Especially for being a facilitator. I mean, Frazier, the big name in that deal, obviously he goes over and hitting a bunch of home runs, so the White Sox are off to a good start. But, I mean, Trace Thompson, not a bad little booby prize in that whole thing. And, he could be a fixture in the Dodgers outfield for years to come. It's going to be interesting to see. I mean, and Ethier was back in June, right? Or
July.
July?
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting.
It will,
to
well,
see.
and it'll be interesting, especially in a couple years, because I believe in 2 years, Ethier and Crawford are off the books.
Oh,
I believe both of
huge.
them are off.
Crawford, man. It's like in watching.
Did he play this week? I honestly don't recall seeing him in the lineup.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but I could have just blocked it out.
Yeah. It's probably the last. Pretty sure I had a couple stats.
I feel like I didn't see him take a swing.
Yeah. I was, I can't remember if we talked about this last week, but I was just thinking in that whole Tampa series of like, oh, please, Tampa, get this idea in your head that you want to have back one of your all-time Rays, and we'll go ahead, we'll eat 60% of his contract, and you give us a single-A pitcher and pick up 40%. What do you say?
I wish.
Oh, I wish.
I really wish.
Not going to happen, though.
I'll even give $5 to help facilitate that.
Should we get a Kickstarter on buying out Kyle
A
Crawford?
GoFundMe? Let's get. Wait, who are they trying to? What player was it? There was a GoFundMe for a player to try to buy him out. I forgot who that was. Was it
Wow.
Pablo Sandoval or something like that? I thought there was a
I would know
GoFundMe.
about that if that was the case. That's a great idea. Oh, man. Oh. So Seager has definitely kind of turned a corner.
Yeah.
I feel like in this last week, he has become... He became a little bit of a free swinger, not as so much as Puig, but he's getting back into that situation where he's being a little more selective, getting into hitters counts, and then making them pay. And it's great to see because, we have a tendency to get impatient with this guy we've been hearing about so much in the minors.
And he's only 21,
That's
22.
Yeah, I think it might be 21 still.
Yeah.
But, so it's just like... great to see that how mature this kid is, and like I'm getting to the point now where I think that because I was kind of doubting this a few weeks ago, but I think he's going to hit like 25 homers and maybe hit 300 before it's all said and done.
I don't know about the home
As a
runs.
rookie.
I think he can hit the 300. I think he raised his average now to 280. It's 280 something right now,
Right.
and he was hitting them. He was 240, 250 there for a little bit.
Yeah,
And this last week he's kind of come on strong. But you're right. It was because he wasn't as disciplined at the plate, taking a few more wild swings. And for him, it's a little different than Puig because he's taller. So when he swings wild, and he's a lefty,
right.
it didn't look quite as wild. Like when you're first watching him, it doesn't look quite as free swinging. But then when you go back and watch him, watch replay, you're like, oh yeah, he's just kind of out there just let's see if I can hit this ball.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, if he gets locked into that where he's hitting in hitters counts, he's going to do a lot of damage.
Yeah.
He is going to go do a lot of damage. So we touched upon Kazmir a little bit. It's very exciting to see that guy because I mean, I thought like this guy now has to be perfect, has to be on the black all the time, has to be a Greg Maddux type pitcher. Gone are the days where this guy's a flamethrower. And then he touches 95 on the gun the other day a couple times. It's like, whoa.
Well, they said he was slightly injured. It came out after Roberts was saying
There's
something about
something
that.
with his thumb.
Yeah.
And there's he's still not swinging a bat. He's only bunting.
Yeah.
And it's things, I don't know why you would say that in a post game, just so the world knows, pretty much. But so yeah, there's something messed up with his thumb. So he's still, even in his post game the other night, he's like, no, I'm still not swinging. It's like, oh boy. But I mean, we're not relying on him to swing the bat.
No.
We're relying on him to pitch.
So we only rely on Kershaw to swing the bat.
But right, so I'm hoping that the thumb's on the men because if starts like the other night, what we have to look forward to.
I'll take him all year long from Kazmir.
Boy,
Are you kidding me?
Earning all that 13 mil or whatever it is.
In the meantime, Greinke can't get a win, so I think he lost the other day against the Giants.
Right.
Although he didn't pitch bad, Arizona's just not very good.
Yeah, and it's not the best pitching park to be in. Tell all the folks listening what your Twitter handle is, Josh.
My Twitter handle is at Gersh13.
So hit up Josh. He knows a lot about the Dodgers. He goes to a lot of games. Season tickets for 22 years.
Going tomorrow too, actually.
Nice.
Gotta see Trout when he's in town. I hate the Angels.
Right.
Especially when they became. Oh, by the way, you were right. It would be the Angels of
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were right last week.
4 years of Spanish for you. Oh, boy.
So that was kind of mind blowing when you're like, so technically, isn't it, you know,
Yeah.
the Angels of Anaheim? Yes, it is.
Oh, the things we think of. So yeah, we have that odd home and home freeway series, right? So there's 2 up here, and
Two
then
here,
2 down there,
2 down there, and then straight to the Padres.
straight to the Padres.
So they don't
for
have
a
a
3-game set.
Yeah, so they don't have a day off till a week from Monday. A week from tomorrow is their first day off.
They are right now smack dab in the stretch of 20 and 20 games. I
Yeah.
think 20 games in 20 days, and yeah, I think they're 10 games into that, and I think they're 6-4 in those 10.
But they should win. I'm hoping they should take 3 out of 4 from the Angels, and you should take 2 out of 3 from the Padres.
You would think.
I would think.
You would think. And like we said, this is the stretch of the schedule
Yeah.
where you got to start piling up wins, you know? Yeah, the Angel, and you know, it is good. You got to see Trent now because there's all those rumors about him getting traded.
Well, no. Well, the GM came out and said, "No way in hell we're doing that." But
Yeah.
from a baseball standpoint, if you think about it logically, you're wasting his best years because you have bad contracts, you have no pitching.
Whatever pitching you had is now injured.
Yeah, you know, Weaver can't even throw the ball. What, 85?
Yeah, he's done.
So, and you have the worst farm system in the majors. I believe the Angels are the worst farm system in the majors. So
Yeah.
how do you not at least consider it?
Yeah.
At least.
They're an odd team. They're not well run. I mean, why
No.
would they trade? They have so many holes in their lineup hitting wise, like past Trout, and they trade for a defensive shortstop and give up whatever remaining prospects they have in their farm system to get them. It's like, it's insane. You add a defensive first shortstop when that's like the last little piece you add.
Yeah.
You know, like when you already have everything else figured out. It's like,
Yeah, it's amazing to see when you look at the Cardinals, who, yeah, okay, fine. Let's, for sake of argument, say they're having a down year.
right.
The organization is always well run. Even the Spurs, who just lost to the Thunder, if you look, or the Patriots in football. The
Love to talk about the Patriots, Joshua.
the organizations are just well run, no matter what. You know, and yeah, the Angels, there's no direction. It looks like there's no leadership in the organization.
Yeah.
They're kind of rudderless. They're just, you know, the only reason people go to games is to watch Mike Trout. So that's probably why they don't want to trade him right now. I think it's the only reason people are watching Angel games in the first place.
That makes sense.
You know, so
You mean they don't want to come out and cheer for a couple geriatrics, pool holes, and Hamilton, and see if they can, you know?
well, Hamilton's not even on the team.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He's on the racetrack.
That's right. That was just 2 of those bad contracts they made when they were burying this team.
Which the Hamilton to this day never made sense when they could have literally given the same money to Greinke.
right.
So it made so little sense when they gave it to Hamilton.
Yeah.
Like even at the time, it made little sense.
That was crazy.
Forget about everything that happened to Hamilton after. At the time of that, when you had no starting pitching, and you went and signed an outfielder, it just still from the beginning it made no sense.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
But speaking of starting pitching,
Could make a segue. Make a segue, please.
Ryu,
Your boy,
rehab start today in
Rancho.
in Rancho.
not too far, right down the 10,
Yeah.
210. They got a nice little park out there. I went there for the AA All-Star game there last year. They got a nice little complex out there.
Yeah,
Go out there,
it's not bad.
support the farm.
When I remember when Kershaw was rehabbing there, we tried to go, but for a minor league game, tickets were like $70.
Yeah,
So we were like, oh no,
just to see Kirsch come in and like
just to see him in that kind of
dominate for 2 innings pitched.
in that kind of stadium, just to see it.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, I mean, cheaper tickets than going when he pitches in Dodger Stadium, you know?
Oh yeah,
Worse the draft.
well, you know that they do flex price now, right?
Oh, really? So flex price, so when Kershaw's the tickets
Not when
are
Kershaw pitches. It's when certain teams come in. They do flex price. I mean, for season ticket holders, it's the same price all year long. But if you look at the actual price on the ticket,
That fluctuates?
it fluctuates.
Interesting.
Because well, my wife works for Disney. Because Disney started doing the flex pricing. So on days they expect it to be more crowded, they start charging more now.
Their Rob is down there at Disney.
Everyone's doing it now.
Man, everybody's doing it. First the NFL with the flex schedule on Sunday nights, and now just even Disney.
It makes sense. Well, they're actually for them, they were trying to thin out crowds. Because people don't enjoy it as much when it's too crowded. So it makes sense from there. The Dodgers are just doing it for the money grab. That's a completely. There's really no logic behind it other than the money grab. At least there's logic behind the Disney decision. You know, you can understand where they're coming from, whereas the Dodgers just a money grab.
It's all a money grab, my friend.
People will pay more when the Red Sox are in town, so we're going to charge more for those.
They must be talking to me. Yeah, so he only pitched a couple innings, and I think the plan is for him to get 4 or 5 rehab starts. And, you know, I'm with that, you know, just kind of bring him along slowly, especially with Wood and Kazmir turning a corner right now.
Yeah.
You know, there's no need to rush the guy. And then, you know, things like this in the pitching depth world have a tendency to work themselves out.
Yeah,
you know?
and then McCarthy's starting to pitch simulated games. I mean, maybe McCarthy comes out of the pen for all we know.
Right.
You know, I'm convinced they won't bring up Urias till that arbitration clock starts.
Right.
Which won't be till June, and sometime in June. I forget the actual date.
You know, it was interesting because we always talk about this in like some vagaries and, you know, with, you know, nothing really solid to talk about. So I looked up some stuff, and, you know, a guy needs 172 days, I think, for it to be counted as a year, you know, of service time.
Yeah.
And there's about 181 days in a season.
Which is why Bryant came up after 10 games, wasn't that?
Something like that. So
Chris
they delayed
Bryant.
him enough. But then, you know, I know how I'm always talking about that June 1st thing or mid-June about that. That's delaying them so they don't get like Super 2 rights, which is an instance where they get one more arbitration year rather than that controlled year for, you know. So it's like 2 reasons to keep a guy down. Yeah. And
which I heard they might address in the next players, you know, in the next union meeting.
Oh, they have to. I mean, if whoever's representing the Players Association, they have to address that. I mean, it's. You have guys like Nolan Arenado or these guys that like contribute right away and are monsters. And it's like, I mean, it's good if the team does the right thing and buys out the arbitration years. And it's kind of good because it allows the smaller market teams to compete. But I think you got to cut it back to like, you know, 2 and 2, like 2 years of ultimate team control and like 2 arbitration years.
Yeah, because by
something like
the guy
that.
could be 27, 28 the way it works out now as a free agent. So he's already he's already nearing the end of that really prime. What is prime technically? About 28 to 32 is your true prime, roughly.
Yeah, 27 to 31.
Yeah, so you're already into it by the time you get to sign your deal.
Right.
Yeah. So I agree with cutting it back a little.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's fair because, like you said, for the small market teams, if they do the right thing, they buy, like they did with Trout. Angels did it with Trout. You buy out those arbitration years. You know, give the guy like Trout got what, 124, I think, something around there.
Yeah.
Because he only makes like 14 million this year, but then he makes like 30 something million next year.
Jumps.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm more of I'm less care about the money the Dodgers have. They have enough of it, and more so about as far as Urias coming up.
Yeah.
And, you know, I kind of likened it last week to that David Price when he first came up in like the 08 playoffs. And a lot of reason why he was effective was because nobody saw him.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Yeah.
So that's why it's like, even if you wait for the Super 2 deadline and he comes up like, say, June 10th, there's still going to be 4 months, you know, 3.5 months of people to get a look and a book on this guy. Whereas, you know, if it's only a month when he comes up in the September call-ups, I like that a little bit better.
And it's worked. It worked with Price. It worked with, I remember famously with Francisco Rodriguez. You know, it worked when the Angels brought him up and no one had a book on him at that point, and he just coming in throwing gas.
Right.
And just getting guys out, you know. It worked with, I think, Michael Wacha when the Cardinals did it with Wacha when they won the World Series a couple years ago.
Yeah, I mean, the Cardinals, and we always point to them as kind of a template because they have been a sustained team of success here in the NL the past 10 years. But, yeah, they do it in, like, with Wacha, these starters that are going to come up as starters, put them in those high-leverage situations, get their feet wet in the bullpen, and you have quality arms that you're adding to your bullpen now. Same thing with Carlos Martinez. It's, like, ridiculous. And then you look at a team that doesn't do that. Like, look at Houston. They had trouble in the bullpen, so then they go and they trade a guy like Vincent Velasquez, and they put him in that deal for Giles.
Yeah.
Giles comes over. He's not doing well. and Velasquez is lighting the world on fire as a starter for Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Whereas you don't do that. Bring up Velasquez to fill that hole as an 8th inning guy that you need or whatever, and then you still have him in the fold. They gave a kind of a haul to get Childs, and it's like blowing up in their face.
Well, what I don't get is it when they don't want to bring a guy up, I always question, like, why? It's almost like they put the business ahead of, like, to me, winning a championship's never guaranteed. If you have a shot,
Yeah.
and you don't have to make a dumb, because to me, I don't think has it ever worked out where a team at the deadline made some crazy big trade and they won?
Yeah.
Has that really ever worked in any sport? Has that really ever worked out?
Doesn't really, not winning at all.
Yeah.
I can't really. I mean, the Cespedes deal for the Mets last year was pretty damn good.
That came close.
Gone
Yeah.
far, so, but they didn't win at all.
No, that's what I mean. Has a team ever won it all by when they made a splash like that? I really don't think they have.
Yeah, Johnny Cueto, but I mean, he didn't pitch that well for them down the stretch. He had pitched a good game in the World Series, but you know, I hear you. I mean, I'd have to really rack my brain and look.
Yeah,
at
that's what I mean. So to me, you're better off going inside, bringing up a highly touted guy. You break him in high leverage situations like that. So now he's used to it. So he goes and pitches when you finally want to let him start. Now he's like you said, he's got his feet wet. He's
got his feet wet
been
without
around.
putting the mileage on his arm.
Exactly.
As a starter. So it's the way to go there, Dodgers, and I'm sure they are gonna. I mean, it's kind of the trend that's happening, and you know, once teams prove you know that their way of doing things wins, then that's when it becomes a trend.
Yeah.
One guy we haven't talked about this program, and I meant to lead it off with him because you know, tremendous attaboy goes out to him this week for getting his first major league victory, one Mr. Ross Stripling.
That's right.
And collecting his first major league hit
Yes.
off of his college roommate,
Michael Walker.
Michael Walker.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's like, it just got me thinking, it's like, how many times has that conversation been had in hotel rooms and locker rooms across these fair 50, you know, of guys being like, yeah, man, when we're in the show pitching against each other, this is like, and like how many of those promises are like, those conversations go unfulfilled. And,
Yeah.
But these guys actually made it happen. It's, you know, a tip of the cap to both those guys. But yeah, it definitely wasn't Stripling's best outing of the year, but he was able to get his first win.
He got the win though, you know. That's
He's long overdue for it.
yeah, not a great outing, not a terrible outing, not a great outing. What did he get? 4 runs.
Yeah.
I don't think all were earned.
Yeah.
I believe, but or 5 runs, 4 earned, something. I can't remember what it was.
I lost juice. I can't.
But yeah, not his best outing. But I was happy to see him finally win a game. That was exciting.
Definitely. Got to get in that win column. I mean, obviously, he should have had a win that first outing.
Yeah.
I mean, no hit ball for like, whatever, 7
7
innings.
innings.
Oh, man. Homie. So who's on the bump tomorrow?
Maeda's on the bump tomorrow.
Maeda, okay.
Yeah.
Maeda.
Against Richards? No.
Richards is hurt.
Richards is
for
the
them.
ones that got hurt, right?
Yeah.
I
So that's why they're hurt.
I can't remember
Might
the Angels
be
pitching staff.
Nick Tropiano, maybe? I'm just pulling that one out of nowhere.
Yeah, I don't remember.
No big deal.
It's the Angels. You know, LA. They're not LA.
Yeah.
I wish they'd stop pretending they were with this LA Angels.
The Angels.
Yeah.
Oh.
They're not. That frustrates me to no end. It's one of those things that's just, you know, because the California Angels was a good name.
It was.
I liked that. I thought that was great.
Sound name.
Why'd they ever? And
Had
then,
the support of a whole state.
yeah. Then they went to Anaheim, which was fine. They play in Anaheim. They were the Anaheim Angels. Makes sense.
Makes sense.
Now doesn't make any sense at all. It's not even LA County. You know, it's
Not only are they making bad decisions on player personnel, they're making bad decisions in the marketing department too. It's a sad
I mean,
day.
yeah, because that's the thing. They did it for marketing. Does the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim really help with your marketing?
I mean, I guess they just think like, oh, people that aren't aware of where Anaheim is thinks we play in a big city.
Everyone knows Anaheim. Disneyland is there. Everybody knows Anaheim.
You know? Maybe they thought they moved. You know? They're playing in Carson. Oh, man.
Like it's Disneyland. It's the happiest place on earth. Everyone knows Anaheim.
Right.
To me, that actually carries a lot of weight, especially when Disney owned them. I mean, that was
Yeah. We do talk a lot about these young kids, the Seagers and the Trace Thompsons and the Jocks and the Puigs, and about how they're hitting and everything. But we really haven't seen our veterans really hit yet, and it looks like maybe they're coming out of it a little bit this week.
Yeah.
It was great to see Aegon get out of that slump. He would have gone like 72 at bats, I think, without a home run.
And then he had a stretch where he was
busted that
0 for 20, 0 for 25 at one point?
That was like that stretch.
Yeah. I mean, he's had some rough outings.
He
And remember,
was hitting under 100 for a long time at the Ravine.
and I thought my fears were put to rest. Remember, I said before the season started that I thought his swing was late. I thought he was a little slow. But then in the first week, he looks like Aegon again.
Yeah.
Now it looks like he did in those few at bats I got to see in the preseason. He's a little slow. He's a little behind. He's swinging.
But now he's turning it around again. Hopefully.
Was he pressing? I mean, you wouldn't think a pro hitter who's he's such a good hitter lifetime that he would press like that, but maybe he was.
Yeah. Well, I think he's probably definitely pressing because when he went on that 0 for 20 slump, the team was in a slump as well.
Oh, yeah.
So it's one thing when your teammates are picking you up, and but when you're on a 1 for 6 homestand, it's a lot of it is because you are the 3 or 4 hole hitter and you're not hitting. That's a problem.
Yeah, but Grandal's been hitting pretty well
Grandal's
lately.
been hitting, and I love that kid's bat. Even though I think AJ calls a better game, handles the pitches better, but Grandal's also coming along in that aspect of his game.
He is, and I think that's why they let him. Why he caught Kershaw this past week. He caught the game Thursday.
The 5-0 shutout.
Yeah, he caught the game Thursday. Because before that, the one game he caught was the game Kershaw got a little rocked there when he gave up the 5 runs. Although he was cruising until then, but when he gave up the 5 runs against Miami,
bad 6th inning.
yeah, was when Grandal was in there, and of course, although he did give up a walk finally.
Yeah.
So now it's not 20 to 1. He's 77 strikeouts to 1 walk now. So he's not
77-4.
77-4. Sorry.
74.
So he's not quite 20 to 1 yet anymore.
Come on, Clayton.
Pick it up.
We need you to get back to that 21 K to walk ratio. Come on now. Woo.
Well, Arrieta's picking up his game, so he's got to up it to make sure he's still the best.
Yeah. The best around. Nothing's ever going to keep him down.
Oh yeah, that was not just in honor of the fact that I've seen the Karate Kid like 4 times this past week, but but for Kershaw.
Hey, it's good work if you can get it. Clayton, man, it's quite fine to have that stabilizing force in your rotation. So.
Well, it's nice because whenever they were able to even the series with the Mets. He ended that, the 6-game homes, the 6 games in a row losing at home. He ended that streak. It's nice when you have a guy who can just come in like that.
Save the bullpen.
Yeah, exactly. Save the pen, ride it out. I mean, another complete game for him. Actually, I have some interesting statistics.
I love that.
Between him and Sandy Koufax, because he reached his 250th start, Kershaw.
Okay.
Koufax was 119 and 71 in his first 250 starts.
Okay.
Kershaw 118 and 57
Wow.
in his first 250 starts. Koufax 2.96 ERA, Kershaw 2.42. However, innings pitched, Koufax 1,692 innings pitched. Kershaw 1,661. So Koufax did pitch 30 more innings.
Wow.
In that stretch.
Still tight.
Yeah, but
still close.
Walks 622 for Koufax, 467 for Kershaw. And then strikeouts 1746 for Koufax, 1806 for Kershaw. I mean, when you really look at him, how historic he's still in his 20s.
Right.
So how historic his start has been. I mean, it's just, I think, and one thing worries me with Andrew Friedman and these guys in charge. When Kershaw exercises his option, in 2 years, will he still be a Dodger? He's going to be 30.
Right.
Will they sign him to that 5-year deal, 6-year deal? Or if Kershaw says, no, I want 7, will they do that?
Someone's going to give it to him.
Yeah, someone will, but will the Dodgers? That's the question. Because this front office doesn't want to give those kind of deals to a pitcher in his 30s.
And I hear you, and that's kind of a good rule of thumb, and especially when you look at how dominant this guy has been in his 20s, and you look at what's that resulted in the team. And is it like worth giving, 37 million over 7 years to a guy that is just going to bring you division banners? And you can't throw it all on him, but, you just have to look at the team success they've had on his watch.
It's just, is
it worth it?
That's a legitimate question that's going to come up, very shortly. So I think you have to. So Dodger fans, go watch Kershaw now, just in case. Go to as many Kershaw pitch games as you can. I try to go to all of them, so just go to as many as you can.
Do you want to give, before we sign off, the Dodger fans something pleasant to think about, other than a world where Clayton Kershaw is in a different uniform than the Dodgers?
Um,
Come on, buddy, give me something.
Actually, I think we'll see Ryu in a month, and I think he's going to be fine.
Yeah.
I think that's, and what'll be nice is when McCarthy comes back, I do think one of these guys is going to go to the pen.
Yeah.
It'll shore up the pen. It'll be nice. Well, they'll be okay. Right now they're 500. They're going to be fine.
They're 500, but the key here is, like we were saying earlier, is beat up on the bottom dwellers.
Yes.
In this next 3 weeks, these next 20 games, they got to make a run. They got to win 15 of these games. Get some separation.
Get ahead of the Giants.
It's true. Hey, gang, thanks for listening in and stopping in with us on another edition of Dodgers Wrap 360. Tune in next week. The guy that usually sits in this chair, Bobby DeMuro, will be making his triumphant return to Dodgers Wrap 360. We appreciate you listening in. For Joshua Gershon, I'm Mike Conley. Thanks, guys, very much. Go Dodgers.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.